So I've been wanting to do this for so long and been so terrified at the same time. I've been in Asheville about 5 years. For the first 3 years, I did one job when I moved to Asheville. I was a limo driver. I moved to town. My mother's landlord owned a limo company. So when I went to visit her, and I actually ended up moving into the house next door to her, this little thing inside me, this little boy, big cars! Whoa! Now, I grew up a hippie child, like so much. That's a whole other story, but I never really could understand what it was, why I liked these huge cars and wanted to be a limo driver, why some part of me wanted to do this, and here they were. And so when my mother's landlord came out, and I was down at his place, and all these big cars, Hummers, and black things and white things, and super stretches, and I just wanted to drive. Like, you don't have to pay me, I'll drive. So what you think, or what I thought is like in the movies, is you order a limo, and the driver comes, and he's all calm and cool, collected in the car, pulls up, sleek, and you're going to get where you're going. You're going to be in style, it's going to be good, and the driver knows what he's doing because he's the limo driver. And so that's what I had in my head, and what being a limo driver was going to be like, too. Like, I would know what I was doing. But here's the reality. The reality is that most people order a limo last minute, and when you're in an area like this, you have to go places, long places, to keep business going. And most of the business happens on Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. So you get this huge rush. And so the reality is, a limo driver, if you have 20 cars, you don't know where you're going. A lot of the time, boss calls you up and says, okay, we got a place, you gotta go, get in the car. So you're sitting there with your girlfriend, also you gotta get up, you gotta get into your suit, you gotta get the tie on, you gotta race down, you gotta get in this huge car. You're racing someplace in this huge car, you don't know where you're going, you're talking on the phone. After that, he's telling you gotta go somewhere else. It's really disconcerting, it's unhealthy, you're a mess, you're not sure where you're going. If you take a wrong turn, you gotta back this huge car out of this place. So being the new guy, what would happen is I would get sent down. The first year I was in Asheville, I actually spent more time in Greenville. So here's what happens. I get the call, it's Friday night, gotta go pick someone up in Greenville and take them to Fox News in Charlotte. So I'm like, okay, and then after that I gotta do something else. And so what'll happen on the weekends is you'll work 20 hours, get no sleep, and have to do all these things, top it off with some after-night party somewhere in a different car. You have to switch cars, meet other drivers. So I'm racing down the mountain. I'm in the super stretch black Lincoln town car. And I know where I'm going, but you just get an address for, I know where I'm ultimately going to be, but you just get an address for your first pickup. So you're like, okay, no, I know this place, and you're looking at maps, and you're reading, and the phone's ringing like that, and you're coffee, and you're starving because you didn't get any warning. And then you never know where you're going to end up. So I'm in Greenville, I'm taking up all directions of down this way, turn here, turn right here, and I pull into the right street, and then there's the turn I'm told about, and it's this trailer park. Which happens all the time, you never know where you're going to end up. So I'm driving this super stretch into this huge South Carolina Greenville trailer park. And I'm reading the numbers, and there's all these bumps. And you got to watch the center of the car, you can't go over a big bump, you got to slow down, turn straight. And I pull up to the right trailer, and I'm like, I found this. There's one relief, okay. Because I also got to get to Fox News by 6 sharp, or, I'm going to miss the appointment. So I getting ready to get outside, and I'm knocking on the door, and this guy opens the door. And I says, this skinny guy, he says, hey, how's it going? How are you? I'll be right there. And I don't see all of them. So he comes down the steps, gets his stuff. He's got this 12-pack of Busch beer, some kind of beer. And, hi, how's it going? He's got crutches. He's got I'm like, let me get the beer for you, and I put it in the car there. And then he's like, I gotta get something else. And he goes, as a limo driver, you're like, can I get it? Oh, no, it's fine, don't worry about it. So he goes back in the trailer, and he comes back out with something, he's getting ready to get in the back of the car. He's like, oh, hey, this has got a trunk, right? Can I put this in the trunk? And I'm like, yeah, it's no problem, let me get there. He's like, oh, don't worry about it, it's fine. So he's out there in the one clutch, and I'm all the way up in the front of the car, and he's all the way in the back of the car, so I pull the trunk thing, boop, boop, and he puts it in there, and he shuts it, and he gets in. So when you're in a limo, there's this divide, and there's this window that slides up and down. As the driver, you're looking in this mirror, and you see the person sitting all the way in the back. And there's an intercom system. And so we're talking on the intercom system. I'm looking at him in the back of the car in the stretch. He goes, "You know who I am? You know why you're picking me up?" And I was like, I got no idea. We're going to Fox News, right? He goes, "Well, you got time?" I was like, "Yeah, I got time." He was like, "Well, let me tell you what's going on." He's really likable, and I'm actually not doing him the best service. His voice is like that, but he's so likable. He's like, "Oh, wait a second. It's all right if we go pick up my buddy, right? We got to go over there." Like, "Yeah, that'll be fine." So he starts telling me the story about why I'm picking him up. I'm going to shorten it up a lot here, because this could be a longer story than the 10 minutes. So what happened, he starts telling me that about 2 years ago, he was in a plane accident with his dad and his brother. And in the plane accident, his dad died, and both him and his brother were really injured. His brother recovered. I guess I should say why he had crutches is because he was missing the lower part of his leg. So he's telling the story. He's got that in the plane crash okay, back up here a second here. There's so many places to go with this. Gotta stay focused. So he's telling me the story about the plane crash. And what happened basically is he was really wounded, and he spent a year in hospitals trying to save the leg. And finally, they just couldn't save the leg. Gangrene set in, and they had to amputate the leg. So he's telling us he's all happy. He's drinking the beer back there. We picked his buddy up now, and he's telling me the rest of the story. So he's like, "So what I was thinking was, what they do in hospitals is they amputate your leg, right? But then they just throw your leg away." And I got to thinking about it. I was like, "I want my leg. I want to be buried whole." And I was like, "Yeah, that makes sense. I'm a hippie kid. I do too, So I want to be buried whole. So then I got to think, well, how can I keep my leg? I want my leg. So before I went and got amputated, I was asked the hospital. I was like, I want to keep my leg. So the hospital said, "Well, we can't give it to you, sir. But if you have a friend who owns a morgue, we can give it to them, and then they can give it to you." And he's like, "I do. I got a friend that owns a morgue." He goes and has the operation. He's already let go of the leg because he can't really use it anyway. So he's already emotionally let go of the leg, and they amputate the leg. And after it's all done and he's recovered, they're like, "Oh, well, Mr. John, Mr. Smith, you can come pick your leg up." Or they say, "You can come pick your leg up." All right. So he goes to his friend who owns the morgue because the hospital gave him the leg, and the friend gives him the leg. But the thing is he's like, "I thought I was going to get bones, but they gave me a whole leg, the meat on it and everything. What am I supposed to do with a whole leg?" And so at the time of the plane crash, he was married, had a family, had a house, had a good job. His dad died. His brother got hurt. He lost his legs. Things were deteriorating for him. So he's telling me the story about what happens. So he broke up with his wife. He moved into a nice trailer, but it wasn't a house anymore. Had to trim down on his stuff. So back to the leg. He's like, "Well, I know. What do you do? I can put it in a tree, and the birds can eat the meat, and then I would get just the bones, because I just want the bones. I don't want the meat." And but then the thing is the birds might take some of the bones, and I want to be buried whole. And so he's like, "Well, then fire ants, but you don't know what's going to happen there." So meanwhile, in between us, he's telling the story about how his life keeps falling down. And he's sitting back there drinking, and he's got no problem. He's not hiding the fact that he's an alcoholic. He's not trying to be anyone that he's not. He's just being himself, which is, I'm laughing, I'm really appreciating who he is. So he's like, so finally, I just gave up on it. I said, I couldn't figure out what to do, so I just put the leg in the freezer, said, "Heck with it." Things got worse for him. The alcohol set in more. He had to move. The leg ended up being in there for a year, transported around. He's living in this divey little trailer park. Finally, he had to get a storage unit. Oh, man, 1 minute. He had to get a storage unit to put his stuff in. So he pulls his leg out, and he puts his leg in the smoker and puts it in the storage unit. Well, then he misses his payments on the storage unit, so the storage unit stuff goes up for sale. So, as a good old boy redneck, I was a smoker at the storage unit sale, and goes home and he opens up the smoker and here's his leg in it. so he calls the police, and the police they figure out that who the leg belongs to, but now the guy who bought the storage thing is like, no, I bought it. It's my leg. So I made it through like half the story, but I'm gonna kind of cut it short and say what ended up happening was the good old boy who bought the South Carolina good old boy who bought the storage unit ended up putting it in his own garage and trying to charge people $1 for children and $3 for kids to come look at it. Fox News had picked up this whole news story and had it blown up. My guy had gotten his leg back finally, but anyways, as we're driving there, we pull over to go to a bathroom break, and he goes, you know what? I got it in the trunk. You want to see it? So that's what I did for money, and I got paid.